Okay, we are on recording.
All right, I'm going to call this August 14, 2019, Lookingglass Rural Fire Department, Fire District Board Meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would anybody like to do an invocation? Okay, I'll start with roll call. Jerry Harris?
Here.
Robert Rodriguez here. Alan Smith sent an email saying he'd be gone. Bill Starr?
Here.
And Fire Chief Rhodes.
Here.
And do we have any additions to the monthly agenda? Okay. So our first order of business, everybody had an email to them, I believe, were the minutes for July 10th, 2019 meeting. And if everybody read it and there are no changes, I will go ahead and entertain a motion to accept them.
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. And with that, I will turn it over to Bill Starr with the financial report.
Okay, we received $1,823.78 in taxes. We ended up with 30 cents in interest. We wrote checks for $2,463.86. Our ending balance is $5,854.94 with interest in our money market of $26.63. Our money market ending balance is $209,073.61. I'd like to have a motion to.
First, I'd like some clarification, if I may, on the $700 to Lindsay.
That's her physician advisor payment. It's the fiscal year from July to July. We didn't pay her last year. She gets paid, we have budgeted $1,100 a month for a $100 class each month, and she did 7 classes last year. So, and that kind of ties into something we'll talk about later too.
Okay,
But anyway,
thank you.
that's where it was, yeah.
All right. Move to pay the bills.
I'll say. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All opposed? Okay, we'll go ahead and pay those. I believe they already signed.
Yes. I got a question for you, JR. Do you want to bring up about that other checking account?
I have that on number 6, old
Okay.
business.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry to bother you.
That's all right. All right, now I'll turn it over to Jerry with his communication report, please.
Thank you. For website updates, posted approved documents, meeting videos, minutes, blotter calls, treasurer's reports, chief's reports, and fire danger level info, which I believe the chief will discuss later, what's been going on with the change in the fire danger level. I scanned the website, including emails for viruses, deleted any that were present. There were no apparent viruses in all district email accounts and none on the website. There were several phishing emails. Also, a few days ago, I found a regular mail letter that was sent here. Steve, you must put it in my box. It was a letter from a website listing service trying to get us to pay over $200 to get our domain name, listed, which is essentially a phishing scam.
I think I gave that to you last year too, because I thought it had something to do with our domain. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's safer to give it to me so I can look at it and verify it's just scam mail. I updated the volunteers training schedule. It's been going through a few updates in the past couple months. I added an accessibility toolbar to the web pages for visitors to have access to more easily enlarge text and to improve color contrast if they need that. I also downloaded a backup of the website to the district computer. Proposed change. I will need to change or remove the weather widget that's on the home page news section. due to accessibility issues. All other pages meet the website's accessibility guidelines. And that widget also is a potential problem because I've been reading about that AccuWeather widget that it collects people's personal data. That's a common one used on cell phones too. So just so you're aware of that.
Really? That's on my phone.
Yeah, but just so you're all aware, I use it too, but they do, from what I've read, they collect personal data.
So we're dropping the weather widget.
Yeah, until I can find one. NOAA is supposed to be coming up with a new widget for the weather. I don't know when it will come out or if it will, and how usable it will be on the website. Okay,
But you're not dropping it right away.
I will probably do that in the next couple of days.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, this is in line with by next month getting the website meeting our website accessibility guidelines. All right, and a proposed change is to add a board-approved privacy statement page to the website regarding the website's handling of visitors' private information. And I did send out to all of the board members, and Chief, I think I sent a copy to you too, for us to review. Basically, the information that I included there is coming from two sources. The content management system we use for our website is called WordPress, and they provide information based on the use of WordPress and the various widgets, little accessory applications that we use to handle the website in terms of privacy. This has all come to a head because of laws that have been passed recently in the European Union regarding privacy of information on websites, data collection, things like that. So websites in the U.S., especially government websites, are paying more attention to privacy issues. And some of the information included in this draft statement also comes from the state of Oregon's government website. I borrowed some information from that I felt was applicable for our website also. So I don't know if you want me to finish up my report first and then I can address that?
You bet.
Okay. Request for suggestions, if anybody on the board or in the community or our volunteer firefighters have suggestions for correcting or improving the website, please let me know. Communications with agencies. Received texts of fire department, 911 dispatches. Received email newsletters from SDAO. Received notices from DFPA. Discussed with DFN tech support how to prevent district website from collecting personal data from visitors and how to stop robot searches of the district website. Because I think a lot of the phishing scams we get are because of robot searches. The problem with blocking the robot searches, it would also perhaps interfere with people doing things such as a Google search or Yahoo search or DuckDuckGo search or whatever they use to find our website. So that can be a problem doing that. But in terms of collecting personal data, I think this privacy statement should help with that. I also discussed with Sheriff Hanlon the possibility of having a drug drop-off lockbox at our fire station. I had seen him at the county fair and was talking to him because I think a lot of people in our area are elderly and may have difficulty getting down to the sheriff's station to drop off old prescriptions, or if somebody passes away for some family member or whatever to take their old drugs down there. And it just seemed like we have a pretty secure station here, and it might be a useful safety and community service first offer. I did talk with Chief Steve about that. He agreed it might be a useful idea, so if the board wants to approve that, then perhaps the chief could discuss that with the sheriff to determine how we could go about doing that in a safe way. And one possibility is that we have specific hours, whether once a month, once a week, once every other week, and we announce those hours, people would know they can come and drop off their medications. And somebody would be here, so people could come in, drop it into the lockbox, and would be very secure that way.
Does it have to be logged?
Logged? That's something that the chief would need to discuss in terms of how they handle that at the sheriff's station. I would suspect, well, I don't know if there would be a log of it, but my other concern would be, should people be taking off the labels on the bottles so that the personal data information is no longer on that bottle when it's dropped off.
Have you seen a lockbox? I'm just curious.
I have not seen
Yeah.
it. I just know they have one at the sheriff's station.
They have a mailbox going to the dump, just once you get inside the gate. So it's locked from the back like a mailbox would be.
I was just wondering how often they clean it up, that you could have people vandalizing it trying to get
Yeah,
something.
we need.
Well, that's why if we had,
We meet here every Thursday
if we had
night.
published
Yeah,
notices and we had somebody here at the box controlling it, then I don't think we should have a problem with that. And all of our firefighter volunteers and, EMTs, whatever, they've all been background checked,
Yeah.
so I think, having them perhaps do that could be a very safe way to do that. But again, that would have to be done, I would think, through negotiations with the sheriff's office.
So you would like me to entertain a motion
Well,
to have
first,
Steve look into it?
I think Candace had a question
Okay.
about
How is Sheriff Hanlon or Hamlin?
Hanlin.
Okay, I have it right.
Real quickly, down the lines of distributing or getting rid of medications is, I'm a care provider 1 night a week, and 3 weeks ago, the person I was caring for passed away. So we had to call hospice in. The nurse was there, and we took morphine pills, put it in water, got it down, put coffee grounds in it, and threw it in the garbage. And she says, those are guidelines that are accessible to disposition in the landfill. And she says, so I thought, maybe down those lines also is you could distribute something of how to dispose of medication in a landfill properly, because she said that's what they tell her that she can do.
Yeah.
Because, and then what happened is, while we were there was no family, so we had the disposition, we did handwriting things saying, yes, there was this many milligrams of morphine.
Oh, yeah.
But she says, all you gotta do is get it watered down, put coffee grounds in it, and it can go in the garbage. That seems kind of weird, but she said those are the guidelines. So it'd be something that if you're gonna go down that, you might be able to think about handing out to people going, here's how you can disposition.
Right.
If you can't make it here, you can't make it to any.
It would be safer though, I would think, if you go into the lockbox. From what the sheriff told me, is that they send all those drugs to a company that incinerates them, rather than them going into a landfill. And we certainly don't want them flushed down the water,
No.
because the water has too many drugs in it now. Okay, any other questions about it? Is that something that we would want to vote on now?
I see no reason why not. I will entertain a motion to have Steve
All right,
look into it.
I move that we have the chief discuss with Sheriff Hanlon's office about having a lockbox here at the fire station.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Um,
Any nays? Nope, we're good. You good, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay, I did have just a few other things. Communications with fire department, list of June blotter calls and report we received from the chief. Communication with community, post public notice for the August board meeting on the district website. next door and at the fire station. Communications equipment, updated software on the district computer, and work with the chief to correct an internet access problem due to a malfunctioning router. Steve, were you going to mention that in your report or not? No.
Go ahead. It's been
Basically,
recycled. It's gone.
we're gonna have to dispose of the old router, it's just not working anymore.
Our router.
Our router.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
recycled.
it's been around for many years. So, we had a second router that we were using, so we're just having both of the desktop computers and the Wi-Fi going through that single router now, and it seems to be working fine. And at the moment, I don't have privacy concerns with that. Okay, should we have a motion then to recycle the old computer, dispose of it?
Computer or router?
I'm sorry, the old router. Thank
Okay,
you.
I will entertain a motion to allow Chief Rhodes to recycle the old router.
Move
station.
to recycle the old malfunctioning router. It's the old, what is it, a Linksys
Yeah.
Cisco router?
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
I,
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. So you'll recycle that?
Yeah, I'll recycle.
Thank you.
Thanks to the chiefs.
All right.
Okay, Rob. Okay, slow down this time.
Okay.
for purposes of the video, did you want to explain who is taking our minutes? right
You
now?
bet.
We can move that up, actually.
You can bump it up.
on business.
Do we have any public comments at this time?
No.
Think we're good there. Okay, so I'm gonna bypass 5, but we're gonna jump back to 5 in a minute on the,
Well, we have to also approve privacy statement.
okay, let's do that part of yours, and then I'll do,
You want to do that?
That's
Unless
fine.
we go through, because if we get her on, then she can vote too.
well, you can still vote. No, yeah, we can put her on, I'm okay with that.
Well, no,
Okay.
all right.
Oh, go ahead, we'll jump right to 6 for now.
Why don't we do that first?
Okay, so first of all, for old business, the first thing we're gonna address is update on donations account.
Okay, I got
So-
a hold of the bank.
For the sake of the bank, we have to have this in the minutes, so we can go ahead and approve that. So, go
Okay.
ahead, Bill.
I talked to, finally, got a hold of somebody at the bank, and at least they didn't need me to run around, that they don't handle it, it goes someplace else and all this stuff. Anyway, I need a letter written on the letterhead from the president stating that we would like to have another account for donations only. So it's not tied into our money market account or our regular checking account. And it just has to be, the letter has to say this is what it's for, and probably a copy of the minutes if we have them, just to prove that it's gone through the board and everything's straightened up and down. But anyway, that's what we have to have, and then we can take it in and they'll make an appointment, I can make an appointment and take it in and they'll set us up another account for.
And we only want one for the donations.
Just one account for the donations.
So is this a motion?
Well, I
It's
question
under
first
old
of all.
old
Oh, it's
business.
old business? Oh,
Did they say anything about whether or not there would be any kind of a service fee for this additional account?
I didn't get that far into it. It was hard to even get to talk to somebody. I didn't want to push my luck.
Right.
so you're setting up an additional,
Checking account for
Checking
donation.
account, or for donations.
okay.
It'll be dedicated for donations.
Online donations,
Yeah.
because it's
Well-
gonna be a donation online is what we talked about when it
Well,
started.
I would think that any donations we receive, if we receive donations by check, that money should
Put
go
'em in
into
there.
the donations
Okay,
account
that's fine.
also.
Well, when we do get donations right now, Steve identifies the checks or whatever it is for donations, and then I just deposit it either in the checking account or the money market account as it goes, but it is
Yeah, that's
identified
the line
with, in his books as a donation.
But we can do,
Right.
we can change
But
Does that call?
But I think what Robert is bringing up is that we wanted the separate account, in particular, if people are doing online donations and they need an account number, that way it's separated out from all our other monies, so there's less likelihood somebody trying to rip us off, hacking into our account.
Do you set it up at the bank and how to get that online?
Well, I haven't said anything about online, but
Okay.
I just got the information that what we need is a letter from him with a copy of the minutes asking the bank or specifying what we're looking for. And the bank said that they could take care of it then.
From Steve,
Pardon me?
from Chief?
No, from,
Right, Robert.
Robert.
From the president.
You might know this, but I don't, not an exact number, but what do you think our donations are every year? Roughly, just an average.
This all came about because we had some people, who,
United Way or something.
United Way.
And Amazon or something
And
like that.
Amazon. And so far, I haven't, United Way was just gonna send us a quarterly check, and we haven't gotten it, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna say that, and I haven't heard nothing from Amazon, so right now,
Nothing.
Nothing.
0.
All right,
So
well-
can I read this back to make sure that I've got it?
Sure.
So the old business, set up a separate donations account that includes an online option? Or
Yeah,
not?
donation option.
Okay.
An account to receive online.
Set a separate
Receive
donations
donations.
account to receive.
So, yeah, so far it's been a moot point, but I'm still expecting something from United Way, because I know there's one person doing it, so.
As much as I've been spending on Amazon, I'll see if there's a way to donate, then we can see if it works.
Like Amazon Smiles.
I don't know.
I think-
Because I'm signed up for one. That was one of the other things. I'm signed up for Roseburg High School or something, so anything we buy on Amazon gets 1 or 2%, 0.5% or something.
I'll
I
check to see if Prime does it, because you know, if it does, it doesn't hurt to let the community know.
No,
Because we,
Prime just went up too,
thanks, Bill.
$119 a year.
Unless your kid's a student in high school or college, that's half.
She's college,
Yeah,
All right.
but she's married now, she doesn't count.
she still lives at home, Bill.
Are we ready for a motion?
I am. This is
Did you
for
wanna-
your bank.
Yeah, let's make a motion to have the president take care of writing a letter, and I'll take it down to the bank and see what I can do about getting another account set up.
Specifically for donations.
Right, for donations.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I will write that, and I'll send it out to everybody just so they can see it before I go in there.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I've noticed on Amazon that when you go in, you get free shipping. Sometimes it will say, we will donate $1 to your favorite charity if you don't do today. If you let us.
Oh, I get it, because they're saving money, so,
There's-
oh, that's a good deal.
Yes,
That's, yeah, I've
and
never
it isn't
heard.
there all the time, but I've seen it, sometimes they'll say $1 toward digital in the future, or $1 toward your favorite charity.
I might order something tonight. Okay, so that's done. Now our next, on our old businesses, we're still looking for a board member. And in case nobody knows, this is Candace Spears, and she would like to be on our board as our secretary. Does anybody, she handed out a resume, does anybody have any questions? I do. Why are you interested? Let me ask you that.
Well, let me just say that I don't want to be one of the people that retires and then jumps in with both feet. So I am going to be retiring after this year, 35 years in education. And I've lived in Lookingglass for 32 years. I've noticed something. People are moving in who might be new. And so it's like, I went to the parade, and I looked around, it's like, yeah, there's her, there's, and it's like, there are so many new people that I don't know. And I have a very large skill set, and so I thought I would just try and see how it was. I figured that I couldn't do too much harm, I could do some good, and get my feet wet.
Any other questions?
I'm just impressed by your application,
Oh.
your experiences.
Oh, thank you.
think you would be a worthwhile addition to our board.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that.
I will entertain a motion, which I believe I have to do, to accept Candace Spears as our secretary. Be it known that your tenure is gonna be a 2-year, because when you come on, as this will walk in, it's a 2-year, so in 2021, hopefully you're still excited and you wanna do it, you will go onto the ballot to be voted. I just wanted to make that clear, so nobody was under any other pretenses.
And part of that is, it should be going on the ballot for the remainder of the 4-year term, so she'll only be on the ballot for 2
So
more.
you'll serve 2 2-year terms.
Yeah,
If
Okay.
you so choose.
if she so
Right.
chooses.
I move to appoint Candace Spears as our
Secretary.
5th board member. I believe it's for position 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Be appointed to position 5.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
We're almost done.
Are you going to swear her in?
Oh, gosh.
Come on, Jerry.
You ain't gonna catch him that easy, Jerry. You're gonna have to work harder than that.
Yeah.
So I would like you guys to know something.
Okay.
I teach 2 classes of applied communication, so I don't just teach students with learning disabilities, but general ed also. Really, really bright, maybe some Asperger's, some autism, and just students that need to learn how to be a student and also to be a citizen and worker. And so I always start off with the value system and that kind of thing, but I start with Robert's Rules of Order, and I set up, I do basics. And it is the hardest thing for high schoolers to learn because they are not even introduced to Robert's Rules of Order. So then I break into teach work groups and that kind of thing for work-related problem solving. But in any case, so they have to have a designated different people for minutes and et cetera. So I'm going to use the experience. They're going to crack up. They're going to go, you're a secretary and you're not in charge. You know, they're going to think that's hilarious. But I am going to use this experience. So I just wanted to let you be aware of that. And I will be discussing what we do, what you guys do. Is that okay?
Sure.
Sure. And if they want to attend a meeting, the door's open.
This is open to the public.
Yeah.
And just so you know, our meetings are video recorded and posted on our district's YouTube channel. So if you wanted to show
Oh,
the
that'd be
video,
fun. They go,
then
oh,
they
you
could
look so
critique, were we abusing Robert's rules in some way? You know, I would say we use kind of an abbreviated Robert's rules
I
here.
think everybody does.
We don't stand when we're speaking. We don't address the president as Mr. President.
Good.
So we're a little bit, we're somewhat informal in the use of Robert's
What I would
rules.
like my students to see, so kids, this is what I want you to notice, is that when the meeting was about to begin, we stood, we pledged our allegiance to our country. Don't forget, that's what we do as good citizens. Okay, nothing mistakes.
Okay. Are
Thanks.
you ready? I'm going to have you stand.
Oh,
Have you raise your right hand, please, and just repeat after me. I, Candace Spears,
I, Candace Spears,
do solemnly swear that I will support
will solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Oregon
and the Constitution of the State of Oregon
and the laws thereof,
and the laws thereof,
and will faithfully and honorably
faithfully and honorably
conduct myself in the office
conduct myself in the office
of the Lookingglass Rural Fire District
of the Lookingglass Rural Fire District
Board of Directors,
Board of Directors,
to which I have been appointed
to which I have been appointed
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I'll have you sign this.
Yay!
I closed it, sorry. And thank you for donating your time.
Oh, you're welcome. My husband was like, will you do
doing?
I go, I'm gonna get another job, and he's like, oh, no.
I'll bring it down here.
All right, Jerry, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, back to the privacy statement.
Thank you. All right, so this privacy statement that I've given you all, and it's available for our visitors here tonight, is a draft, and my feeling is that it would be sufficient just for the board to pass it with or without any changes, rather than needing to go through two public hearings and trying to include it in, for example, our IT policy. I think this is just a privacy statement that we know is likely to go through changes as the internet and governments try to sort out what's going on with how to protect people's privacies. And as I said, this is based on the information from WordPress and from the state of Oregon. So, do you feel that I need to read this 3-page document? Have you all had time to review it? Candace, I think you're just receiving it now.
Yes.
And you are able to vote now also.
So this is gonna be a link to it on the website, or
It would be
on the website?
a page,
Okay.
yeah. I would include it, like our accessibility guidelines now is a link in the menu. This page would have its own link, so people go right to this page to review the privacy statement. And if we approve it, then of course it would no longer have the draft watermark.
Personally, I don't think it's necessary.
Does anybody have any questions about any sections of it?
No, it looked really simple, I thought, and straightforward.
Yeah, some of the information, like on page 2, about the analytics, that's what I essentially took from the state's website, because this is general information. Any website you go to, the web host of that website, because of the way websites are designed and the software that's used, they collect analytical data. There's no getting around that. But it's kind of aggregated information, and it's not going to collect anything that by law is considered personal information. And basically, we as an organization do not collect any, but I'm just going to mention a couple of highlights. Visitors to the site do not log in or have the ability to leave comments. That's either on our website or our YouTube channel. Therefore, we do not have any collected personal data for people to request. A domain name or internet protocol address is not considered personal information. That's one of the types of information that's collected through the analytics. Okay. Any questions? Then I would like to move that we accept the privacy statement as presented tonight.
I make a motion.
All in favor?
I made the motion.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry. Thank you for the work on that. And now I will turn it over to Chief Rowe.
Chief minutes for August 24th. So Candace, I gave you a copy, so you might not have to type it.
Robert, you seconded?
I might make the motion.
You made it,
I'll
you
second
seconded,
it.
okay. Okay, now what?
We're going to the Chief's minutes. So I gave you a copy of them there, so you can take it home if you want. So July 2019, we had 17 total calls, 10 medical, 1 structure, 1 motor vehicle accident, 4 natural cover fires, and a public safety /assist. 1 natural cover fire was a mutual aid 10-mile up by Van Urban Reservoir, and we also were committed to milepost 97 fires, county task force. we were down there, 3 days, twice with brush truck and once with a tender, basically for 12-hour shifts. And, didn't see any firefighting. Mostly we were doing, triaging of structures and identifying structures for if it spread into that area where we put the resources. Fire restrictions in effect, fire restrictions got lowered, just before the last rain. It's back to moderate. There's no burning, mowing, chainsaws between 1 p.m. and 8 p.m.
Steve, excuse me, the burning, that's 24 hours, isn't it?
Right,
No
I'm
burning.
sorry, yeah, exactly. The way I put this on here is wrong. There are no fires, that's absolutely true. We discussed this with Grange last night, but something that came up was battery-powered string weed whackers. Now, I don't want to get everybody out there weed whacking, but to tell you that they are not specifically included in this because they're not internal combustion engines, and the way the law is written, the EPA can't cite anybody for that. And truly, there's not really a spark potential with them, but it came up because we had some families telling on each other and fighting over the fence. So, anyway, battery-powered, rechargeable string trimmers, you won't get you cited. Okay?
Can I ask a
And it
question?
probably would help us, yes. Ma'am.
So, running a four-wheeler in your field or whatever, is that,
In dry grass that's right now is illegal. There is an exemption for agriculture, and we've actually had a few of those this year where people are saying, "Oh, that's pasture," even though there's no animal, there hasn't been animals in it for years or anything else. And it's up to the EPA to whether they've got a cite them or not. The one that we were
can
involved
you
in.
do that before 1 o'clock?
Well, I have to look. I'm not sure if that's time sensitive now. I'll have to look at that. For you. We have that right up there on the sheet on the window.
Because I would know not to mow,
Right.
but I was planting trees and taking water and,
The DFPA website, it gets pretty intricate on everything. I mean, it's 3 screens of stuff, and it gets down to the nitty-gritty on each column of moderate, high. So
Okay.
that's the best place to go, because
Okay,
it
thank you.
really gives you the ins and outs right then and there.
Let's see, our training this month included defensive driving, EVOC course, that's all the cones are up there again. Multi-company drills, went over to the drill tower in District 2 and did a wet hose and master streams. We had fire investigation class from the Oregon State Police. Training with a Reach helicopter is going to take place here at the station on September 5th at 1900, 7 o'clock. They're going to land out here in the parking lot. If anybody's interested,
Is that a regular Thursday training?
yeah.
can we go on rides?
They actually
You heard?
fly our assistant chief in from Roseburg. He's going to meet him at the airport because they're going to. We went out today and designated pre-approved landing zones around different areas around our rural area, and so they're
Oh,
going to
that's
evaluate those as they fly that night. We're working on scheduling an advanced vehicle extrication course here in the area later this fall. Some of our folks just had it up in Bend, and they're going to bring it down here. We certified 2 additional driver operators. Let's see, all employees. We've been working on this cone course and driving courses and defensive driving now for at least a year. Basically, it was motivated by our insurance companies changing their requirements. So most everyone now is completed in the vehicles that they're qualified for. We got a scholarship from Oregon Health for Lindsay Chitwood, our medical advisor. She's going to be attending a firefighter wellness CISD or CISM, critical incident stress management course in Denver, Colorado in September. They're going to reimburse her for any travel per diem costs up to $1,150 because we're a rural fire department. So we, after getting tickets and all that stuff, we were at $1,172. So we're about $22 over. So she said that she would eat that in. she'll pay for her own food or something on one night to bring that back down. So there's not going to be any cost to our team members for the countywide stress management or incident management teams and all that stuff. So
Excuse me. So you're saying that $1,150 for that training is being reimbursed
to us as a scholarship, yeah.
at what? Reimbursed from where?
From Oregon Health,
From Oregon Health.
right? Because we're rural.
So there's just another $22 or so. Don't we have monies budgeted for training where we
Yeah, I
could
do
just,
that
we
was-
could pay for that?
Yeah, we can. When she gets all the receipts back, we'll see what she turns in.
It doesn't make sense to me for her to have to pay out of pocket
Yeah.
for that.
Well, yeah, that's what the scholarship was for, and after we got done, when she started booking tickets and everything else, that's what it ended up being.
But we do have monies budgeted specifically
Right.
for training.
We do. When
So
she
if you
gets
think
all-
that's reasonable
Right,
for that cost,
right,
that would be fine with me.
okay. When
Does that
when
seem reasonable to everybody else?
Oh, yeah.
when she brings it all back in, I'll give it to you. It'll probably be, show up on October's bills probably. Explorers were with us again on everything. For equipment, we're installing emergency lights on 90 and consoles and radios. We had a stainless steel console fabricated in Umpqua sheet metal, and they donated it. So we're sending them a thank you letter and a note. VFA grant was funded, and we're starting to make purchases. We've purchased most of the structural type stuff already. I haven't got a whole wild end stuff yet. The Spire grant's still waiting on procurement, and we're still approved for it, but it's still pending. FEMA grant information is late still, and they've been estimating it'd be July, and then they estimate August. And now they're saying the middle of August, and we're just about there. We haven't seen it yet. The SCBA is sitting in the front office. Camas Valley got new SCBA's and donated those. So they actually have some value, but they donated to us. So what we're looking at mostly is we're kind of parting out things that we need to keep ours current until we get in with the SCBA replacement in the next year or two.
Is that rescue? Or is it oxygen or?
It's just air for a smoke, for a fire attack, their air system. So the part, like for example, the rubber, actual rubber part of the face mask is about $140. And as ours have gotten older, sometimes when you pull your mask tight, it tears the tab off. So those things are totally usable for that, and we're going to part them out and keep them. Anything we don't use, we'll try to redistribute. And in fact, you get some credit when you trade stuff in once you get new SCBA's. So I don't want to store all that stuff for 2 years, but if we have an ability to get some money back out, we will. Continuing placement of equipment on trucks. So we redistributed some of our wildline equipment to make sure that 80 and 81, when we put the new brush truck in service, we made sure it had everything on it, and then the old one got kind of leftovers, and we distributed that back so that we have 2 complete trucks. So when we commit ourselves out of district, we still have something that's completely functional. We brushed out the station weed whacked. Station air testing was completed for the quarter. I purchased paint for updating. We're going to update the station graphics on the wall outside and also touch up the gray paint up there. Lookingglass Church has volunteered to have some of their folks help us with it. Probably, we're looking in September. He's got another group of volunteers coming in at that time too, so I want to do some other projects around here. And then we'll coordinate with our volunteers and them and clean up the paint outside. Make it look new. A bunch of office admin stuff's been going on. SDIS and SDAO's workers' comp audit I sent in last week. It's not going to be increased at all. We didn't have any injuries last year, and the numbers are all the same. The district update to SDAO, I said removing Brenda, so I'll have to update that again to add Candace. So for the temporarily, the board president was the contact, and then also from the county election office, so, or a county assessor, or a clerk. So I'll change that back too. The budget, the LB 50 and the resolution were submitted to on time to the county assessor. The last we have to do is the audit due September 30th. District 2, we're meeting with them about a SCBA grant submission for this fall. Our submission is basically already done. I pulled it last year because it said that they were going to do this joint thing this year with the surrounding departments. And we paid last year to have a grant writer write that part of it. So we have that, and our submission is all ready to go. So we're going to meet with District 2, 10 Mile Glide, and Winston, and try to do a regional purchase of SCBA. So they'll all be the same for the surrounding fire departments. That seems to get a higher priority also instead of individually applying.
Is that a federal grant?
Yeah. We met with Reach today to look at the zones. August 27th, we're going to be up at UCC. The Fire Blast trailer is getting some training and maintenance, and we're scheduled for that, I believe, in March of next year, 2020. We'll have it for a month. Fifth director, we talked about that. I talked to the county clerk about the election and stuff, so that Candace will run the 2021 special election. If she wants to go, August 22nd, there's training up in Cottage Grove. It isn't 9:30, it's 8:30, so we'd have to leave here about 7:30. Are you still up for that? Okay. So that will be the board 101, like when George came down and taught the rest of our board. It's going to be George Dunkel and Eileen Aikensley. And then best practices update, we're at 8 right now. We did all the things. There's one thing that's remained to do. It has to do with public records requests and all that stuff. The new public records policy from the state. SDAO has, state personnel has online training that we can take. I took it already, so our department has officially taken it. But if all you guys want to go on statepersonnel.com and look at it, it's 56 minutes, and it's not as stimulating or as, I don't know, free-flowing as past classes. About 45 minutes I was having a problem for a second, trying to stay awake. But it is online, and we have credit for it now because I have a certificate for it. But one part of it is we're supposed to provide them with our public records policy. We do have a public records policy, and it's supposed to be updated to meet the law. So I printed out ours, and I printed out the differences from that class and everything. And really, the only two things are that is we're supposed to reply within 5 days. So it's I don't think that's in our policy. It says as soon as practicable or something. But now they've set a limit of 5 days for that to acknowledge that we received it. And then a general practice is by 15 days, you have a written reply back to them unless there's some kind of complication, legal complications, you got to get counsel or something. So I took the specific spots and I printed them out, and I'm comparing it with our existing policy. I think we can just insert stuff. One thing the new law does have is a lot of sample forms, and you can almost all put it on our letterhead and use it. And there's a form for them requesting, there's a form for us replying, there's a form for us acknowledging their request, and let's see, there's one. Anyway, we can almost type them word for word, just put our certification of the true
appendix
copy.
with the public. Those could go into the appendix with
Right.
the public records law.
Right.
So we would need to have 2 public hearings to make changes to our policy.
I think you're right. And before November 10th.
Well, we would have September meeting and October
Okay,
meeting.
so I'll have to get to it by next, so we have to make sure to put that on public notice service. And I'll try to get that done before. Anyway. I think that was it. I'll get Candace signed up for safe personnel. Our insurance company has a website, we can go do the online training, and most of the time the classes are like 10 or 15 minutes. They're talking about computer security, whatever,
We
a
have-
variety of stuff.
I think we have about 15 hours of safe school surveys that we have to do. It's just,
So it's very similar, and SDA usually does a really good job of stuff, it's pretty fast.
it's only 15 minutes,
Most of them are,
that's me.
this one is not,
Oh,
the current one. So I think that's, I don't have anything else, that was it.
I have a question about, the minutes. Do they get posted? How do you put them online?
Yeah, what you would be doing is sending us a draft of the minutes that we would then need to approve at next month's
Okay.
meeting. Like the minutes that we just approved tonight
Yeah.
from last month, those get posted on our website.
So I need a list of your email.
I'll be discussing with you how to
Okay.
access the email and send things out.
Okay.
We'll
The
go right
so you can use the districts.
You'll just go right to the district and then spread out.
And we also need to give you your binder
Oh,
with all kinds of information,
Wow.
and where you can keep all your documents that you're receiving tonight. Were you finished?
I'm finished.
Oh, okay, all right.
And we've already completed old business, so any new business? Oh, go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, under old business was that where we dealt with the board member? Yes.
Hmm?
In my motion, that was to appoint Candace to the board position 5. I should have also mentioned to appoint her to the officer position of secretary, and I did not do that, so I think we should have another motion.
Well, I will entertain a motion to
Move to appoint
Candace.
Candace to the officer position of secretary.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. All right, so new business, any new business? Okay, I'm good on my present report. Anything from the board? Everybody's good? Public comments?
Well,
Thank you for doing our minutes
no, I was gonna say, Candace, you will get the minutes for the next board meeting.
for this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do them up. I'll just find out how to send them to
After the meeting, I can discuss it.
Okay.
I found that the camera was very helpful when I wasn't sure who first and who second.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, within the next few days, I'll have the video posted on the YouTube channel, and I'll be giving you a list of information so you'll know how to access the email and YouTube channel, things like that, on our website.
I don't like technology, I'll just let you know that.
So our next meeting is going to be September 11th, 2019 at 7 p.m. And if there's nothing else we brought up, I will entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
I make a motion.
Second.